So here I am at Sissinghurst again, and it's just amazing to be here, just standing near these dog roses and smelling that incredible apple scent. Well, first mistake. The rose, of course, that I'm referring to is not the dog rose, it's the sweetbriar. But anyway, let's get back to the main point of the story. Sissinghurst does so many things so well, but let's just talk about the one thing it does really well. Once upon a time, back in Vita and Harold's day, I might have been convinced that romance, rich, dripping romance, was the one thing that Sissinghurst did better than anywhere else. It's still romantic, but nothing like, say, in the 50s and 60s when visitors would have to push past the shaggy branches of those yews down the front lawn, or hold back wayward stems of climbing roses or wisteria. Later, when the garden was under the care of the National Trust, with head gardeners Pam and Sybil, I'd have argued that the one thing Sissinghurst did best was intense horticulture involving faultless succession planting. But even that's nothing like what it once was. The one great strength that has been there right from the start of Vita and Harold's time, and remains today, is a design that takes a set of oddly misaligned, oddly configured buildings and resolves them into a unity so powerful that you can't imagine them being any other way. If the design appears inevitable, it's only because the design is so clever and so nimble. You've really got to study a plan and give it more time than we have here to get a grip on how misaligned these existing buildings and plantings were when Harold and Vita arrived in 1930. The plan also reveals that what Harold designed was a series of enclosures that were a virtual object lesson in spatial diversity. You go from quite large, simple, open spaces to densely planted ones that shoot down a long tunnel or squeeze your way through tight apertures to new spaces beyond. The design isn't faultless and certainly isn't without its anomalies. There's a herb garden that's barely visible at the top right-hand edge of this picture, but it feels like it's jammed right up into a corner in a place where the garden should simply be dissolving into its surroundings and not revisiting the concept of an intense, enclosed space. Other faults include a U-walk which is just way too narrow, and a misalignment of the main path, which means that from here you can't even see through to the statue of Dionysus that everything about the design suggests that you should be able to. You've actually got to step slightly left of centre in order to be able to see through to him. But these are really just minor faults. Sissinghurst is a work of design genius, and the spatial diversity that it explores is the one thing that I think Sissinghurst does at least as well as any other garden in the world.